Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we will create a application for a shop or a restaurant. This application will contain two pages. The pages will be the first one, which contains the items to buy. We have here 5 items, their prices, and a button for ordering. So if we run the application, we'll see that each item has a button here to order, and if we tap on the button, we will go to the next page displaying some info about this item. So let's start our application, and in order to be able to do this application, you need to have some photos. Let's go and see what photos we need. We need 5 photos. We need the shop logo, and we need 5 photos for each items. 1 photo for each item of the 5 items. So these photos are pretty basic. You can make your own photos. Okay, and so let's start our tutorial. So let's create a new project, empty activity, and let's call the project the shop delivery. The shop delivery, and make sure Java is here selected and click finish. Great. So first let's go to the drawable and add these photos that we need. Okay, now I will go and get the images and copy and paste them here in drawable. Okay, let's go and start our project. I will keep this here in order to make sure I am following the same design. So let's go to our project and start with actually the colors folder. We need some colors here, so let's make sure we are using the same colors. We need this red color. So I will go to the original color file here, and I will just copy paste the colors, or you can just pause the video and write them and add them. So these are the colors we need. We actually have the first 3 colors above. You just copy and paste these colors. So again, pause the video and write these colors. We have the background color, the color title, and the color gray. So I will copy and paste them here. Great. Now we can go back to our XML file and start building our application. So let's start here. If we go to the constraint, if we go to the XML file here, we have the constraint layout. Make sure you have the constraint layout, and first start with this text view. Just select all these lines and remove them. Okay, let's start our application with adding a background color. So the background here, as you can see, is still white. So add a background here, background color, background. So it would be the same background we need. Okay, remember this is the original design. We're trying to make the same design here. Great. Now let's go and start with the first item, which is the logo. So I will add an image view, and the width and height would be with the width and height of this logo. So I will go to the drawable and check the width and height of the logo. It would be 260 by 108. So 260 dp by 108 dp, and the source of src, the source image would be drawable on the slash logo. This is the image I imported to the drawable for the logo. Now I will add an ID. So ID logo ID. Okay, so I will close the tab here, and I will just drag it a bit to the middle here to be able to work with it. So I will I will constrain its top to the top of the page and its left to the left of the page and its right to the right of the page. Now it is centered. I will also give it some margin from top. So margin top, let's give it around 50 dp. You can give it whatever you want. Okay, now let's move to the second item, which is this one. So this is here a text. This is the title of this section, and this is the title of this section, and so on. So each section has a title. So I will add a text view here. Text view. Okay, and wrap content. So the color here of the text is the color gray. We add it to the colors file. And the text here would be displayed as appetizers. So appetizers, and text size, I will make sure it has the same text size here. So it's around, so I will give it a text size, let's say 20 sp. Okay, and no, actually we had a mistake. The text color is not color gray, it's color title. Okay, and the text style is bold. Okay, and I will give it an ID. So let's say ID appetizers ID. Great. Now let's also drag this text here to the middle and give it some constraints. So I will constrain its top to the bottom of the text shop of the shop logo, and its left to the left of the page. So I will also give it some margin. So margin from top equal 20 dp, and I will give it margin from start equal 8 dp. Great. Now let's add the first item here, which is the first item of the menu, which is Quiche Lorraine. So I will add a new text view. Here. So text view, wrap content, and it will display Quiche Lorraine. So text equal Quiche Lorraine, and I will give it an ID. So ID Lorraine ID. You can give it whatever you want, but make sure to be consistent. And I will make sure it has a good text size. So text size equal, let's say, 14 sp. Let's give it more. Let's give it around. Actually, I will see this text here. I will check the sizes of these texts. So it has 25 sp and these have 20 sp. Okay, so let's go here. Let's give this text 25 sp to make sure we're following the same design. And this one, let's give it 20 sp. And let's also give it a text color. So text color here would be color gray. And so that's it for now. Let's go here and give it some constraints. So I will constrain its top to the bottom of this text and its left to the left of the page, and I will give it some margin. So margin start equal 20 dp and margin top equal 8 dp. Great. Now let's add another text for the price. So text view, and the text would be here 8,000 LBP, and the text size would be the same, text color actually would be the same, color gray. Text size would be 20 sp, and what else? Let's also give it an ID. So ID, let's give it Lauren Price ID, and so that's it for this text. And let's give it some constraint. Actually, let's actually start with the button here. Let's leave this text a bit. So let's add a button. So button, let's make sure we have the same width and height here. So the button here would be it would have 20 dp margin, and it would have wrap content and 25 dp as height. So let's give it wrap content as width, wrap content, and 25 dp as height. So let's also give it an ID. So ID equal order 1 ID, and we want to give it actually also the background. So let's say background color. The color here would be color title, and what else? It would have the text as order now, and let's give it a text color also. So text color would be the bash color of the background of the page. So color background as text color. What else? Let's close this tab and give it some constraints. So let's move it here. We would constraint its top to the top of the Loran, and its end to the end of the page. So it would be like that. Now let's give it a margin from the end of the page. So margin end equal 20 dp, and so that's it. And let's actually let's move to this text. Now the text, what I want to do is the text is constrained to the button rather than constrained to the text here, because as you can see here the widths of these texts are variable. So each time I constrain the button to the text before, it would give me a different position. Actually a text here to the text before, it would give me a different position for the text here. So I would constrain the texts here to the buttons here, because they will have the same position, horizontal position. So I will take this text here and just constrain its end to the start of this button and its top to the top of the Quiche Lorraine text. Okay, and I will give it some margin from the button here. So let's give it a margin from end. Let's give it a margin from the end as let's say 20 dp. Okay, let's give it more, 50 dp. That would be good. Okay, now let's continue with the second item. So the second item would be this one. So let's start with the text view. And its width and height are wrap content, and the text would be other quiche, and it would have the same width and height of it would have the same font size and the same text color, the text above and the text to the right. So let's give it some ID. So ID, quiche ID, and text color would be color gray, and text size would be 20 SP, and what else? So that's it. So let's take this text here and give it some constraints. It's top to the bottom of quiche Lorraine text here, and it's start to the start of the page. Let's also give it some margin from top and from left, or from start. So margin top equal 8 dp, let's say, and margin start equal 20 dp. Let's continue with the price. So the price is a text view also. So first let's do the button, the same button we did. Let's just copy and paste this button here, the button code here. Let's copy and paste it, and here, and just change some stuff. So instead of order 1 would be order 2, and it would actually have the same attributes, but let's remove these constraints, these two lines here. Okay, and let's take this button and constraint its top to the bottom of this button, and its end to the end of the page, and give it some margin. So margin from top equal, let's say, 8 dp, and margin from start, or margin from end here, it will be 20 dp. Great. Let's add the text for the price. So text view, wrap content as width and height, and text equal the price here is 6,000, so 6,000 LBP, and let's here give it an ID. So it's called its ID would be here it would be let's give it quiche price ID. So ID quiche price ID, and let's make sure we write the correct format for ID here. So quiche price ID, and let's give it the correct text color, which is color gray, and the correct text size, which is 20 SP. Great. Let's take this text and constraint it. It's constrained its top to the bottom of this text, and its end to the start of this button. And let's give it some margin as usual. So the margin from top would be 8, and the margin from end would be the same as above. It's 20, I think. So it's 50. So it's 50 dp. Great. Now we have this section ready. Now you can do the same. So you can follow the same way I was working here in order to do the remaining sections, this section and this section. So what I will do here is I will send you the whole XML file of this section, so you can use it in order to have the same design as here. And I will see you in the next video.